name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am showing you my June reading journal and we are going to wrap up May. So this is the calendar spread for May. You guys have seen this before. I was really excited about our color scheme and our theme and the fact that Mass Effect came out, and I have been doing live playthroughs every weekend so far. Really fun. But we do have the new releases. So many books have been coming out, like May and June, so many, but I've highlighted the ones that I've either read already or I have purchased. Then we have my read every day and page tracker spread. So for the month of May, for whatever reason, I got a little slumpy, especially near the end of the month. Part of it could have been Mass Effect and me sort of being a little bit obsessed with the game. Part of it was also some of the books I was reading. I just felt a little bit blah. So even though I did read 3,805 pages, and I'm super excited about that, I do feel like my amount of days reading was definitely not as much as normal. And I mean, obviously we can see that here. There were 11 days I did not read in the month of May, whereas in previous months so far this year, I think the most has been maybe like 3, 4, or 5. I don't fully know, but I didn't read like double the amount as normal. But I still got some good reading in, which you guys will see. So it's not too big of a deal. For the TBR, I did read 3 out of the 4 like main books that I set out to do. Again, this was partly just because of being slumpy and not reading as much. I could have done more, but I mean, taking a break sometimes is fine, so I didn't really mind. And then for Read by Daylight, I absolutely love this readathon. This is created by Bear from A2 Brody, and I will leave that link down below, the channel and everything. And we always have 3 different prompts to do. This month was a sci-fi based challenge month, which I did love the idea of it, but hardly any of the books I actually was planning on reading fit into the prompts. So I did complete number 3, which was to read a translated book. I actually read quite a few different mangas in the month, and those are obviously translated from Japanese to English. But that means I did end up using actually both survivors for this month. I debated using the second survivor. I could have used a previous survivor just as easily, but I did feel like checking off just all 3 this month. So I did use Gabriel Windsor, which was to replace a prompt and fill it with a book for another readathon, read-along, or book club. I also do the Buzz Wordathon every single month, and the book for this month that I read was Stillhouse Lake, so I did use that one for this. And then I also did use Hannah Delphine, which was to use a DNF as a completed challenge. And I did have a book that I DNF'd this month. I talked about it in my wrap up. It wasn't necessarily a bad book, but it was definitely one that I did not see myself finishing, and so I did DNF it. But that also could have been why I was a little bit in a slump, because I really wanted to read it, but I just knew that wasn't really gonna happen. So there were multiple days where I just sort of was like, I should read, but I don't want to read this book, so I don't want to read anything, you know, that kind of stuff. I did also do the May the Force Read With You readathon. So actually I could have used any of these books for that one prompt that I did for the Read by Daylight one, but I did complete this as well. I did the light side with some neutral prompts thrown in because you could do the entire circle. For Midichlorians, which was to read a middle grade, I read The Last Fallen Star. For Jedi Council, which was a sequel or a book in a series, I read Trickery. For Telekinesis, which is a book you think will move you, I read The Soulmate Equation. For Lightsaber, which was a book with your favorite color as the main color on the cover, I read Tokyo Ever After because it did have a nice pretty blue cover. And then for Force Spirit, which was to read a book with paranormal elements, I read Once and Future, the comics. Those were really good. Okay, so we have my haul and favorite book and favorite quotes. Now, I can read this pretty well, but I do feel like it's potentially on the camera not going to be as easy to read because it does start off pretty dark at the top, and I just used a black marker. But this is my haul. I will leave the haul video linked down below for that as well, because I did purchase more books than I should have in the month, but I use my loophole where if I buy like comics, graphic novels, or manga and read them in the same month I buy them, they don't technically go on my TBR, they don't technically count. And so even though I did buy like 10 volumes of manga this last month. I read most of those by the time I even filmed my haul, and so we're good. My favorite book was The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. It was my first Christina Lauren. Absolutely loved everything about it. 5 out of 5 stars. This is so good. I read it as an e-arc, so I definitely need to buy the physical copy, but so good. And then I also had tons of favorite quotes. I will read them all to you and everything like this, but like my favorite quotes, I feel like I have a pattern. I either really like quotes that have some sort of emotional impact for me, or ones that I just think are funny. So, so for the quotes, we do have "It's okay if the only one who knows the real me is me" from Boys Run the Riot by Keito Gaku. We have "Sorry I hit you, I thought you were going to keep talking and I panicked." And "I knew the boobs would be a problem" from Trickery by Jamin Eve and Jane Washington. I also have "I don't have an American half and a Japanese half. I am a whole person. Nobody gets to tell me if I am Japanese enough or too American." And "Feelings are a real son of a bitch" from Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. You might be seeing a pattern here. I actually had multiple quotes from some of these books that I really, really loved. So I have "Statistics can't tell us what will happen. They can only tell us what might happen." And "I generally want to commit a felony when I see him. I'm not sure that's a sign of romantic compatibility." And "I haven't been home in years, but I feel that way with you" from The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. And then finally, "Plenty of things that are real are nonsense" from Once and Future, Volume 1 by Kieran Gillen. And then we have my books read spread. So I do have all of my notes and things that I thought about it, usually also characters' names, because I'm really, really bad at remembering character names. And I did decide to double up the reviews of the manga stuff that I read this month and the comics as well, just because I only read 2 of each one and I felt the same way about both. They actually were all 5 stars. I just really, really enjoyed them. And then I do have my stats here. I also always talk about my stats in my wrap up in case I don't somehow have them in my reading journal, because sometimes I run out of room. But for my age category books, I did read 1 middle grade, 6 young adult, 1 new adult, and 6 adult titles. For format, I had 1 ebook, 5 arcs, and 8 physical books. And then for star ratings, I had 1 DNF, 1 3.5 star, 3 4 stars, and 9 5 stars. So now we are going to move into June. So this was something I talked about in my Sticky Club unboxing, the last one I did, that I was gonna do a like 4 elements type of theme. And that is definitely what I did. I used 2 main packs. One is the one that we just received, which was called In My Element, and then one was one that we got last year called Elemental. So I had 2 full packs basically to go off of. This one here is from the Celestial pack, just because I have been including a zodiac sign with every single month. But otherwise, we have stickers that represent air, fire, water, earth. They're just scattered around here. I actually do think these are like little silver dandelions. Actually, you can sort of see those. Those came from the After pack as well, and I've definitely used them in this journal before. I think on my monochromatic spread, but I figured dandelions could also stand for air, in my opinion. So that is what we did. And then new releases. Again, so many new releases coming out in June. I am super excited for so many of these. And so far I have 3 arcs that I'm currently reading that those are what I have so far. But we have some manga, we have some graphic novels and comics, and then we have some books that I will get in book boxes that I just haven't check them off yet because I don't have them. And color scheme, I guess I should talk about that as well so you guys sort of know. This is the color scheme I decided to go with. I have a sort of dark dusky blue for water, green for earth, light blue for air, and orange for fire. So here's my read every day and page tracker spread. I obviously am filming this slightly late. I've already started books and read books. I think today is actually like the 4th or 5th, and I haven't filled in the last couple days yet, but I did start a book. I've actually already finished 1 book, but again, 4 elements. So we have fire, earth, water, air. I put them in a random order on here. They don't even match the colors that I picked at the bottom because I did decide to do water, earth, fire, air because I liked the idea of this dark dusky blue, green, and orange as my main colors because I don't do audio very much. So the dark blue will be physical, green will be ebook, orange will be ARC, and the light blue will be audio if I listen to any. Audio is one of the least common ways to read for myself personally. And then we have my TBR. So I have a huge TBR here because of one of the readathons I will talk about in just a second because we do have a readathon page. And like I said, I have checked one off. I also have a couple ARCs that I didn't talk about in my TBR, but I do have those here. I also have a couple other books that this is sort of a sneak peek to my next What's in a Name vlog. I am doing a different name than Chelsea, but I will leave that link down below as well in case you want to see the first one where I read 3 different books by authors that all share a name with me, Chelsea. So that's what I'm sort of doing with this one as well. I'm very excited about that because I'm actually going to be starting to film that on Monday, so that'll be coming up in about a week or so. And now we're into the readathons. We have the Clear Your Shit version 1.5. So this is a mini readathon. It is happening all month, but the main readathons, so the one that we did last year and the one that we're going to do this year, are usually about 2 months long, or at least 8 weeks in November going into December. So this is a mini readathon because it's only 1 month long. We have a bingo board for this one. We do have 8 specific prompts plus a free space, and my TBR video for the month of June, I talked exclusively about what I was doing for this, and hopefully you can see this. I don't actually know, but I did check off one prompt already because like I said, I finished a book, and that was to read a book featuring a magical object. So I have done that already. I'm very excited. Now, Read by Daylight. I decided to go with a slightly different theme here because our theme, I guess theme for Read by Daylight is a doctor, a creepy doctor, and I'm super excited. So I'm not going to read the lore, but I will leave the link to the Read by Daylight stuff down below. But we have 3 prompts. The first one says, Dr. Hitch uses a special medicine of his own concoction to knock his patients out. Read a book out of your comfort zone. Now this is something that I will definitely be able to read because there's another book over here that is to read a book in a genre you don't normally read. So that's going to cross over. I'm going to be reading Less by Andrew Sean Greer. It is like a contemporary literary type of story. I don't read that very often, but I'm excited to try it out. Prompt 2, taking only the best pieces of each unlucky patient. Hitch's dream is to create the perfect human specimen. Read a 5-star prediction. Again, it's going to go close over here. There's no 5-star prediction on this one, but a book with something elemental. I'm gonna read The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, and last year I did make a 5-star prediction video where I talked about The Burning God, so I do feel like that's the book we're gonna be reading for that. Number 3, the lucky few who have left Hitch's hospital alive are said to never be the same again. Read a book about a fear or phobia. This one I don't know what I want to read yet because I don't think I have that much creepy stuff on my TBR for this month, but I am excited to find something for that. And then we do have The Survivor. Rhonda Hitch allows readers to use her special perk. They can utilize surgical transplant and read any fresh or recently obtained book in place of a prompt fill. So if I do decide to go shopping for books this month, I could always use this and mark off a new book that I decided to read instead of one of these ones. But I am excited to see about a fear or phobia book. We'll just have to see how well all of my other reading goes. Then we have the haul. I keep pushing the pages down because we are getting to the last half of this book now and they start to pop up. I'm actually past the halfway mark, but I feel like there's so much paper over here. So yeah, this is where I'm going to have my haul and favorite book spread. I decided to just do a green paper. This is one of the stamps that we got recently from Sticky Club. This is actually from the In My Element pack. I just used like a black, what is this? Faber-Castell marker. This is not the right one because it's a small fine tip, but I use my brush markers and it works really well for that. And then this will be the favorite quotes area. We had this paper from the In Your Elements pack, this paper from the Elemental pack, and then this is a separate notepad that I bought from H Mart, which is our local Korean grocery store. A couple different like sticker things there, and we're good to go. And then the book's red spread. Like I said, I finished one book, I've started another, and I'm just using my normal color scheme that I have decided to pick out. So I have the dark blue, green, light blue, orange, and I'm using the color under it for the star ratings. So I do have my green stars up here already. And then we have these sort of like water droplet stickers that I thought were cute. Those are also from, I think, the Elemental pack. But yeah, that's what I have so far. I really do like this color scheme as well. I used to do themes where I was only doing like monotone-ish colors or like 2 colors to do the themes. But the last couple months, I've had like full-on different colors, and I actually think I like this better. It's a little bit more, I don't know, bright or something. But again, not every theme I pick is going to work this way, but I'm actually really happy with this one. And you probably can't tell, but these are also supposed to be like earth washi tape sort of stuff. They look like granite or quartz and that kind of stuff, and I thought they were really, really pretty from our most recent In My Element pack. So yes, that is what June looks like. Are you guys excited about any of these like hundreds of releases coming out? Because like seriously, the last couple months have just been crazy with releases. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I do have bookish videos up Tuesday and Thursday, and like I said before, I have been doing live playthroughs of Mass Effect Legendary Edition on Saturday and Sunday. So I will see you guys then. Bye!